Hi folks, I'm going to play a recording for you here. This is our Flirtation March, and that's not the important part of this recording. This is an early Columbia, and it's interesting what was going on at the period of the start of the Columbia disc record. You know, I have talked before about the climax and of course leading into the Columbia disc record. This was all done by the Burt Company, and of course they created that other company within it called the Globe Record Company, and they were the ones that were making the Climax records, also the early Zonophones, it appears, as well. One of the things that's kind of interesting is that once Columbia got the Jones patent in 1901, and once they settled a deal with Eldridge Johnson, because of course Johnson had done a raid on the Globe Record Company and took all the stampers from the Climax Company, which was Columbia. Once they settled all these deals, they finally started coming up with the idea of getting rid of the idea of Climax and starting calling them all Columbia Disc Records. And that was done, and there was a flurry of activity having to re-record everything, because in many of the Climax records they announced proudly it was a Climax record. And once Columbia came out and legally had a disc record, they had to redo things and proudly announce it was a Columbia disc record. So in the midst of all of these were some fantastic recordings made. There were some lousy recordings made, and some sound like they were in such a hurry they really just didn't give a damn. But this recording, Our Flirtation March, recorded in 1902, has the metal grommet in it, by the way, which you see here. You can see it. That's what was on all of the very early Columbias. Also on the Climaxes, and even before they put a label on the Climax, there were some Climaxes that didn't have it, and there were some Climax records that did, even before they started putting the Climax label on there. This was when they had it embossed. It was kind of interesting to see that. So, without further ado, let's listen to Our Flirtation March, played by the Columbia Orchestra. And number 275, and from 1902, and a remarkably well-recorded record. And listen in the beginning, you'll hear the conductor going 1, 2, and all right, here we go.